I apologize for that. The content of this channel is for mature audiences. Parental discretion is advised. You're tuned in to the Green Gorilla channel. Please make sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and hit the bell notification button. And please, feel free to share the video. Thank you. What's good, everybody? I apologize for the faux pas when I initially started off, man. For some reason, OBS went dark. And I don't know why I did it, but it did it. So before I get things started, I want to give a shout out to all the members of the Green Gorilla channel. I want to give a shout out to Raphael Brown, Omni Americana, Deanne, Donald Watts, Very Little, Ryan Jackson, hiphop.catv, Black Quizard ADOS, Coach DC, The Remedy, Kashif Caldwell, Infamous Chillin', I Am Black Man, John Reeves Too Much, Nishita, Leroy Honeycutt, True King 337, B Hillfire, Force Windu, Michael Cavendish, Urban Nomad, Barnolas, Kyle J. Sura, I'm Just Jules, The Book of Ronin, Ab Media 83, Damon Harris, Brian McMurray, Mr. Lou Meth, TD Hip Hop Media, Drew Main, Shop Talk Live, The Face, Mr. Heat, Afro Analyst, NEU, Ronan Martin, Issa Abdul Sahir, Sir Anthony, Deshaun Nolly, MLR, Charles Rogers, Black Dog, Universal 178, Black's Word 404, Rashid Barnes, Aaron Smith, DH, See Truth the Revelator, Gold Professor, Nameless Protagonist, Black Pill Net Start, Author Unknown, Dr. Tiasan Johnson, Brian Williams, Kalan Jakala, Sherrod Martin, Ricky Dawson, Cedric Bowman, 27360, BK Born Shaheed, James Washington, Hostile Adept, Seven Coast Dojo, WPR 1, Rogish the Billmonger, I Care, Lady Miss Thing Green, BGS Ivmore, and Marvin Battle Jr. And then also on the Patreon side, Victor A. Coach, Dragon59, D. Smitty, Supreme Ibmore, Adrian Hicks, Jay Bailey, Mr. Michi, NEU, Momal, William Ruffin, and Asangwa. Thank you so much for your ongoing support. And I can't do nothing but give you a round of applause for that. Thank you. I appreciate all the support and helping me to make the Green Gorilla channel a little bit better day by day. And, you know, hiccups, bumps, and bruises, but we still pushing. So, thank you for that support that you give each month. And I know I'm kind of beating a dead horse here, but I got to continue to push this damn documentary, man. I believe we can get it done. I believe we can make it happen. So here is the trailer for the documentary that we're campaigning for. And please help if you can. And if you can't make a donation, please just promote it. So here we go.
I told you to do Biden. Now we done lost a damn vote. We done lost a vote. That's gonna go to Trump. God damn.
I mean, when you mention black people, you mentioning black women. So don't count yourself out.
No, that's not true.
So yeah, man, help out the campaign if you can. And I just received a donation for the campaign on my Cash App. And you know, if you want to make a donation to the campaign and you want to keep your name anonymous, make an anonymous donation on the campaign. I don't want this to get cross-mixed with my personal cash. And you know, all of the money that's being allocated towards this documentary is going straight to the documentary. Upon the event that all of the funds are not garnered for the documentary, everyone receives 100% of a refund, bottom line. But I don't want that to happen. I want to be able to take the cash and produce the documentary. And it's more than enough to do what needs to be done within the allocated budget, man. So I know it seems like a lot, but to get the thing done correctly and to have it viewed by film festival critics, it needs to be done properly and correctly. I can sit on Final Cut Pro in my bedroom and fuck with it and do it, but that's not giving it justice. So I want to get it done professionally. So that's what I'm working on. And you know, if it happens, it happens. I want it to happen desperately. But if it doesn't happen, man, you get your refund, 100% refund. I'm not here to put this towards anything related to my personal expenses at all. In fact, while it's being made, I'm still gonna have to tap upon my own resources while it's being made. So that's just, you know, personal information, man. But I wanna get to the proceedings this evening. And I want to talk about this crazy article I found. And it has to deal with the subject matter of a shortage of black male sperm. So let's get right to it, man. So, man, look. I looked at this article on Facebook, man. It tripped me out. And I think, you know, Dr. Johnson was the page that I found it on. And the article is entitled, "A Shortage of Black Sperm Donors is Putting Black Women at Risk." I mean, damn. You can't do this the natural way? Like, are black men so much of a nuisance, so much of a problem, so pathological, so dysfunctional, so undesirable that you can't find a real live man to hook up with and to have a child with, and perhaps maybe to raise a family with? Is it that difficult to do? I mean, the very idea and the notion that You feel at a disadvantage and you're at risk because you can't find black male sperm in a sperm bank, to me just seems absolutely ridiculous. Like, is this what the world has come to? Now the only way you want to engage with black men is through a sperm bank. That's the value and the honor that you place upon black men, is just as a sperm donor. Come on, man, we can do better than this. I know we can do better than this, but perhaps maybe we can't. Maybe perhaps things are too far gone. Perhaps maybe the imagery and the iconography of black men is too far gone. But I mean, for crying out loud, is this where we are? Is this where we're at? Damn. I mean, damn. So anyway, I'm just making sure that everybody can hear me and see what's going on the screen here. So anyway, from what I understand, this article is one in a series of articles related to the subject matter of, I don't know, black women on parenting, family, and the post-COVID future. So they're imagining a future without us, and black women are at risk because black men ain't going to enough sperm banks and jacking off inside of a cup. Talk about utility. Talk about being pushed to the periphery. Talk about marginalization. It don't get no bigger than that, man. The only thing you good for is your nut. Fuck what comes along with it. Fuck the father. It's about the sperm. You're going to X the man out of the equation altogether. This is where this come to. And to me, it's just like treating a child like a pet. Like you can go to the store and buy one. Or, you know, you can have one and you don't have to consider a male in relation to his connection to the child at all. This is what it's come to. And it's a sad state of affairs. I'm here to tell you. But let's read what her perspective is. And I'm not going to be all night tonight because I'm getting in and out. I got some shit to do. I got a partner coming into town. Then I got some shit to do this weekend. I will be here tomorrow, though. And then after that, I'll see y'all on Monday. But so anyway, man, let's just get to this article, man. It says, when I tell people I found the sperm donor for my child on social media, they visibly cringe. So just think about this. You found a sperm donor for your child on social media. Yes, I'm cringing visibly. I'm cringing this moment. You can't in the real life meet somebody in your surroundings, your social circumstances, that's suitable enough for you to draw upon, to connect with, to have a child. Like, this is where we're going. When I tell people I found the sperm donor for my child on social media, they visibly cringe. It's only when I take the time to explain the shortage of black male donors in sperm banks that their judgment starts to wane. It's not going to wane for me. I'm sorry. It's not going to wane for me. But anyway, she says she went through the process 3 years ago. But it's sad to see that since then, little has changed. So you want black men now to step up to the plate and go to sperm banks and jack off and nut in cups. That's what you're doing. You want black men to start doing for the sake of you being able to X them out of the equation and not to have any input over the lives of the children that are born into this world that are black. It's gotten that far. It's going that far. Anyway, I approached finding a donor much like online dating. To optimize my chances, I selected a bank that boasted being Britain's, and obviously this is a UK woman, right? So she selected a bank that boasted being, well, maybe not, but she selected a bank that boasted being Britain's largest provider of donor sperm. She made a list of traits that she'd like the donor to have and a few deal breakers. I wonder what those were. All the shit that we're hearing on social media now about high value men, he gotta have a MBA, a PhD, 6'3". He's got to be light-skinned, dark-skinned, muscular, all this bullshit. But you can't attract that in real life. You can't do that. You can't draw that type of man in the real world. So the only way that you can approximate getting close to something like that and to have a child with good genes is to go to a sperm bank. Man. She wanted a donor who was black like her because she'd be raising the child alone and didn't think she'd be able to provide the right support for the child's other culture. What difference does it make? You're already social engineering to begin with. You're already setting up a situation in which you're playing God. You're not doing this naturally. Why you want to do it naturally in any other context? But oh well. The sperm bank's website invited me to filter my search according to race, hair color, eye color, and height. When I selected black for race and pressed enter, I was told that unfortunately, my search didn't come up with any options. Hoping this was an issue that was particular to the bank, I tried 2 other British sperm banks, but the result was equally disappointing. One bank came back to me with 2 potential donors. I rang a few days later to ask for more information, but one of them was no longer available as he'd met the 10 family limit each donor is allowed to create. So apparently there's a certain set of guys with a certain set of characteristics that these women want, that they've been told is desirable, predicated upon culture, but you don't know shit about these men in person. All you're doing is looking at something on a list and making a selection predicated upon the superficial qualities and characteristics that this society deems valuable. And this is the future for black folks. This is the way of the future. Man, it's crazy. For some women, anyway, it's the future. Anyway, she pressed enter. Unfortunately, her search didn't come up with any options. Hoping this was an issue with that bank, she tried 2 other ones or whatever, but the results were equally disappointing. One came back to her with 2 potential donors. She rang a few days later to ask for more information, but one of them was no longer available as he'd met the 10 family limit each donor is allowed to create. So obviously, man, black sperm is of high value, especially if it is not interconnected to the black man himself. That's crazy. And look, let me say this, man. I don't know what goes through men's minds who go to do shit like this. But apparently, I mean, I've heard of people who don't have a lot of cash and they do shit like this. I mean, I've heard about that. I don't know any guys personally that will admit to having gone to a fucking sperm bank to get cash for nothing in a cup, jacking off in a cup. I mean, this is crazy to me, man. So the other requested his sperm only be given to heterosexual couples. Oh, there we go. She don't want the man, but she wants the baby. You don't even want to do what has to be done in order to have the baby, but you just want the baby. X the man out of the equation. I don't like men, but I like what men are able to bring to fruition through the act of sex. Man, I'm telling you, I would suggest to black men don't ever fucking donate to a sperm bank. Fuck a sperm bank. No, no, no. That's just my opinion. Do not fuck with sperm banks. If they don't want to fucking actually deal with a man, they don't deserve a goddamn child. Period. You don't deserve to have offspring if you can't interconnect in the way that is necessary for a child to be brought into the world through nature. That's my opinion on the matter. Or at least you can't connect up and have a situation in which you actually know the man. So now they picking random men through databases and shit with pictures and profiles attached to them to try to figure out whether or not, that's a good choice. That's a good choice. This is sickness. It's narcissistic. It's delusional. And absolutely, it's ridiculous to me. But that's just my opinion. I mean, this is what it's resorted. This is what these people are resorting to. I just can't believe this, man. So the one guy had requested that his sperm only be given to heterosexual couples. So as a single woman looking for a donor, she wasn't eligible. So she's single. She just wants a pet child. This is the absence of understanding about what life is really about. Human beings are fucked up, man. We've reached that point where people are engaged in fantasy, and it's now a reality. We're making people's fantasies come true. You can get a pet child too. Just visit the sperm bank. And I bet you they're charging an arm and a fucking leg for these women to have access to this sperm that they could get for free in the context of love, development, and culture. But instead, this is what it is. Everything has been reduced to the marketplace. Even children now, a commodity. And it's dangerous for black women. It's dangerous? You probably are not the woman who would be selected to have offspring by a fucking man who would be considered to have, or a man that you want to have the kind of genetic traits with, or mix your genetic stock with. This is not good for the human species, man, I'm telling you. But that's just my opinion. I had no choice but to widen my search to Europe. Many American banks aren't compliant with the British Human Fertilization and Embryology Authority regulations and can't be used by our clinics. But I was surprised by the many options for black donors available at Danish sperm banks. So I guess Danish guys who are black are just going to these places and whacking off in cups. Wonder why. Their detailed profiles included psychological assessments by who and how. And how accurate are these psychological assessments? How do you assess somebody who goes to a damn sperm bank and jacks off and nuts in a cup? How do you psychologically assess somebody like that? I'm just wondering. Voice notes from the donor and childhood photos. So they want to see what you look like as a kid. She selected a donor and immediately began the process, but she soon realized it was significantly more expensive to buy sperm from Denmark. 2,000 pounds. That's about 4 G's, ain't it? 2,000 to 2,800 pounds, as opposed to 850 and 1,150 pounds in Britain. So it's like buying a dog. You can get the sperm for the price of a fucking Cocker Spaniel or some shit, a purebred Cocker Spaniel. Anyway, after her 2 rounds of IVF, in vitro fertilization, she couldn't afford to continue the process. This is how she ended up looking for a donor elsewhere. And private donation isn't recommended by HFEA. But she had no other options. Private donation? What does that even mean? You mean she went and got somebody that she knew to give a private donation and it's not encouraged? These people are playing genetic games, man. We've reached that point. I visited donor introduction sites and found the same lack of choice, or that donors were looking to co-parent. When I put my dilemma to other single mothers I followed on social media, they suggested looking for a sperm donor group on Facebook. So now they doing this shit on Facebook. They looking for sperm on Facebook. There, she found a niche group for black donors where women openly discussed their experiences calling out deceitful donors. For example, after months of lurking, I saw a profile of a donor I liked and was able to chat to a mother who'd used him to conceive her daughter before starting the process with him. So now they selecting dudes on Facebook, and they got other women that they know, and they communicating with these women to talk about, whoa, how's the child? Like, what kind of sick shit is this, man? She was lucky. The private process is still high risk. These donors don't always have the full medical workup of a clinical donor. Tests for STDs can be arranged, but genetic screening and psychological evaluations are difficult to organize. This is crazy to me, man. Certainly, STDs such as HIV may not be detected initially if tested at the wrong time. With the sperm bank, the sample would be frozen and only released when a second test confirmed no infection. Those using informal donors are often using fresh sperm and don't have this luxury. When choosing these risky options, women and their future children are also opened up to uncertain future relationships and potential legal battles. So this is the danger. The danger is there ain't enough black men going to sperm banks jacking off inside of cups. So now you're forced to deal with informal guys on Facebook groups and shit, and you don't know whether or not they got HIV. Man. Not all men offering to donate are sincere, and several women who have written about this on online forums have found themselves in uncomfortable situations when they meet their donor to collect the sample. The shame and secrecy associated with the use of unregulated websites adds to the blanket of silence. The population of the UK is 13 times bigger than Denmark, and the proportion of immigrants is similar. But there's been little research done to understand why there are so few black donors in the UK compared to Denmark, and what can be done to motivate men to donate their sperm. As far as I'm concerned, man, fuck donating sperm. That's just my opinion. Fuck donating some sperm. You can't do it the natural way, or you can't reproduce the way God intended us to reproduce. There are or nature, whatever the case may be, there's a reason why nature is set up the way that it is. And I understand that we try to make things easier on ourselves, but we are flying away from the reality of the way the world is set up. It's not set up to reproduce predicated upon, all these little fake ass choices that the society arranges for you. The only real things are human beings, man, and nature. Society is an artifice, man. It's artificial, man. The most important things are people and relationships. And this is proof positive that they've lost sight of this. A lot of people have lost sight of this. And no, it's not about having children as pets. The lack of research continues to expose women, particularly black women, and their children to unnecessary risks. Nor can we continue to rely on Denmark for black donors when it's unclear how Brexit will affect customs and trade. A homegrown solution is required now more than ever. I just can't believe that shit, man. I can't believe that, dude. I just don't understand people, man. And I told you this wasn't gonna be a long stream, man. But I just don't understand this. I can't comprehend why it would be the case that you would have a group of women who are foregoing actual relationships with live men. And they consider men to be so anathema, so problematic, so dysfunctional, that now you can choose to have a child without one. The stigmatization and the socialization of single motherhood has become so paramount. And we already know what happens to children who are raised in these environments, man. They have the most difficult lives of all children. But these women don't give a fuck. They care about themselves. They want what they want, how they want, when they want it. Man, we're heading for the destruction, man. This shit is crazy, man. We are headed for fucking destruction, I feel. And I know I'm being a little ignorant by saying what I'm saying, but this shit is fucking ridiculous, man. So thanks to Man Friday. Thanks to Mr. Mister. Thanks for Roguish the Billmonger. And also, yeah, that's it. Thank y'all for your donations, man. I would call you in the chat, man, but I don't have a way to draw you in and to have a conversation. But I'm just, protect your seed, man. Like this guy Drew Main says, protect your seed, man. These people aren't worthy of your seed. And they're not, if they can't meet you and have a relationship with you in order to bring in or usher in a child into this world in the conditions of love, fuck that shit. That's my word, man. I'm out of here, man. This is just absolutely ridiculous to me, man. I'm out, man.